Khalsaa with Exposé on marriage or no marriage. And today's topic is being together in health or in sickness, or in sickness or in health. And today I have a phenomenal guest, and she's Smriti Shivdasani from Mumbai. I know her since the time I joined Access. I was a small little baby who grew along with Access, and I've always seen her be joyful, smiling away to glory. She has her own collection of amazing jewelry. Thoda maine bhi kharida hai. And, she's creative, she's innovative. And the only thing is, I always would wonder that cancer kaise create, and she's gone past that and created a new reality with her body, which is amazing. And you'll get to know the other side of her. She's done MBA, but one doesn't just stop on MBA, right? So she chose her career from banking. She shifted into two businesses, that is real estate and relocation services, and designing and manufacturing handmade jewelry. How does it get better than that? So she's very, very innovative. And cancer led her to be getting into alternative healing. So, and she's a phenomenal healer, transformational coach. She does a lot of life coaching, but it's interesting to know that she's also a certified dream builder coach and life mastery consultant with Mary Morrissey Brave Thinking Institute, Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and facilitator of Light Key Healing System, which I would like to ask what that is all about, and a lot of transformational workshops, and truly enjoys coaching people. But what I really know of her, she's a brilliant human being, humanoid, and I love her smile, and I've always seen her face, everything with a smiling attitude. How does she get there? Let's get to know about her and about the topic, of course, of being together in sickness and in health. Hi, Smriti. Finally, that your introduction is done. Thoda sa.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Kavvita. Thank you, first of all, for having me here. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm grateful for you. And thank you for those beautiful, kind words. Really. And it's been a pleasure watching you, like you said, when you came to Access first. I know I was there when you came for your first class, and maybe you felt like a baby then, but it's been amazing to watch you, grow, watch you blossom, watch you choose more and more for yourself.
Yes.
And I love what you've created for yourself.
Thank you
It's
so
a
much.
beautiful life. I love your life. It's beautiful.
Seeing you, I think you're an inspiration, like you're really an inspiration. I don't want to use the word fighter, but I think you're okay.
I'm a chooser, I would say. I choose.
Yeah. And okay, how do you kind of pass on this gift of choosing to people, if I have to ask you that?
It's like this. In any given moment, we either love our life or we don't love our life, or we love our life in bits and pieces, and then there are parts of our lives that we don't love. And we always have a choice to continue to be, unhappy, and maybe part-time happy and part-time not happy, depending on which aspects are not happy. Or we say, you know what? I enjoy the idea of being happy. I, in fact, enjoy it when I am happy. So I'd rather have happy in every area of my life. So for me, it's like that. I used to be somebody who was a cribbity crib, whining, being a victim queen, all of that. But I realized that there's no joy, no fun.
But
And
does that victimhood create illnesses in people?
Absolutely. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, no, I also get that, because where you're being pathetic and you're being miserable,
Yeah.
sadness creates so much of pains, ache.
Yeah.
So tell me, if bringing it now, connecting sickness with marriage, there is this oath, okay, that one takes in sickness and in health, I'll be together. So, and suddenly you realize after marriage that one partner is not keeping too well. Okay. How do you suggest that the dynamics changes, and how can one actually create a beautiful marriage still and have a brilliant relationship, even if one person is not keeping too well?
So for me, the way I look at it is that when one of the partners is going through an illness, it can go various ways.
Oh, yes.
Okay. One way it can go is that the other partner finds it very challenging and they cannot deal with it because they're not emotionally equipped for it, or they are not physically equipped for it, and they want out.
Or they've not signed up for it. I mean, see, for example, there's a lot of people who create marriage as a fairy tale, right? That ye hoga, and then suddenly you realize ye kya ho raha hai.
Right.
So,
But having said that, each person, I mean, there are various phases of life that can show up at any point of time in anyone's life. You're not sickness proof.
yeah.
Okay. It's wonderful that certain people really enjoy great health. And again, health is also a choice, I believe. However, we do make unconscious choices. And if sickness does show up, it is something that you can't say, I didn't sign up for this, but okay, you may not have signed up for this, but things occur, things show up because we keep making choices from this lifetime, other lifetimes. So now what happens is that there can be either somebody saying, I am not capable, like I'm not emotionally capable, and there are genuinely people who are not emotionally capable of handling somebody in their life who's sick. And especially when I'm talking about sick, we're talking about serious stuff, like big stuff, right? Which requires a lot of care and all of that.
Yeah.
And then there are those people who have the equanimity, have the courage, have the strength to be able to face it.
Yeah.
That's one aspect. But the other is also, how is your relationship to begin with? So let's say if to begin with you have a beautiful relationship where you have each other's back, that even if something like this shows up, which you really didn't sign up for, but even if it shows up, the person doesn't back off, the person doesn't run, but the person is there standing by you. And that's what it was for me, at least. So because the base relationship was wonderful to begin with. So then if your basics are, why are we in a marriage? If I'm in a marriage because it's wonderful for me to be me and it's wonderful for you to be you, and we are together so that we can enable each other to become everything that we've come here to be, if that's your base of your marriage, then whether illness comes in or anything else comes in, you will grow with it, and probably you will grow deeper. So for me, what happened was that when I was in this kind of a situation where, fourth stage cancer and all of that, our bond actually went even deeper. Because, when you're faced with death is when you truly, like, even though you valued each other, I cannot give you exact words, but even though you've always valued each other, but when your loved one, or when, this person in your life is at the door of death, you awaken to their preciousness at another level.
Yes.
Okay. So for us personally, the journey only brought us face to face with what really mattered for us in our marriage.
And closer.
And also what happened was that, even though we have been, close, but still, there are always those, little bits of choo cha cha, that kind of a thing, irritants and all. But in the face of all of this, a lot of things I realize have no meaning. I mean, they're not even worth spending your energy on. And you want to use that time that you've got to create something greater. You don't even want to waste 5 minutes of it on bickering and judging and all of that.
Oh, you're so true, because whatever you're saying is like giving me goosebumps. That is so beautiful, that what you got and what you created. Because when my husband had this heart attack, like very recently, and not too much into the, just a year down the line. And I think that's gotten us closer. I personally feel that, and there's like a lot more value to each other, and it's creating greater. So yes, this brings me to my next question, that like we were talking before we started off, that ladki, if the guy falls sick, then everyone starts pointing ladki ki galti hogi, she must have done something or stress diya hoga. But लड़की जब बीमार होती है तो you know, nobody says that to the man. Okay, and one more thing that a lot of people associate strong illnesses or something that black magic kiya hoga, whatever. Have you ever faced that somebody would have done this or evil eye or whatever? Do you think that is true?
Well, what I know, and I'm also a talk to the entities facilitator, and we do have black magics as a subject as part of our class. While I cannot deny that dark magic exists, as
Yes.
in there are people who practice it.
Yes.
However, the basis is that you can be at the effect of black magic only when you believe that the other person is more powerful than you, is greater than you.
Okay.
If you do not believe that, you know, people are greater than you or somebody is more powerful than you, and you can remember that you are an infinite being and be an infinite being, then there's nobody who can overpower you, nobody who can sort of, you know, do black magic on you as such. So black magic is only effective when you truly believe that you don't have power,
Right.
or you are less. Otherwise, no such thing.
That's so beautiful. So if you're at the effect of it, you will fall sick and all that, health and stuff and all can happen.
Yeah, because you believe that, right? And whatever is your point of view is what creates your reality. So if you truly believe that I am a victim of black magic and I am powerless, then if you truly believe that you're powerless, how will you ever be able to create irrespective? So even if somebody has withdrawn the black magic, for example, okay, but has not informed you that, listen, I've withdrawn it, but you will continue to believe that you are not capable, you're powerless, and you will actually not be able to create your life irrespective.
It's like placebo effect that you're not told, but you're like in that effect that, okay, fine, this is continuing and I can't.
Yeah, because you not creating your life is not really because of the black magic. It's because you truly believe that you don't have it.
Oh yeah. So that gets me to my next question. We work so hard for creating a marriage work, okay, in exchange for warmth, security, and happiness. But working hard towards a marriage, does it really deliver that?
You can work as hard as you like.
Yeah.
But if certain elements are not in place, no, it doesn't create it. And if there are certain elements in place, then you can have that without having to work hard.
Awesome. That's so beautiful. So what challenges, come up when there is a partner who is not keeping too well? What are the kind of challenges that one faces?
So while I can't generalize the challenge, I mean, it's kind of going to be very individual, case to case, but there are a few that I can talk about. So when one of the partners is unwell, the whole load, and when I'm saying unwell, it's like bedridden, can't really contribute much to the creation of household things and whatever. So what happens is that one partner kind of suddenly has to double up, right? So very often if both partners, like for example, are working and they're both earning members, so suddenly one person is not earning. Okay. Now they see, when it's a very well-off financial family, that's a different story. But when, two people are trying to make ends meet and both the incomes are very, important, vital, then it becomes quite challenging in terms of financially. It gets a bit stressful for that one partner who's got to bear the load. So there you are trying to kind of manage your finances. You're trying to manage your, the house chores, etc., and look after your partner who requires additional care. So suddenly you kind of you have to like just don many roles, and you just have to step up, of course, and become more expansive. And even if there is no financial burden yet, you've got to also step up emotionally to be available to the person who's going through whatever they're going through. And you've got to step up in terms of being more present as to what's really going on, because if there's illness that has come in, there's obviously been a history of something that's been going on, and that has not been addressed. And because it was not addressed when it was maybe at a minor energetic level, now, it's kind of a wake-up call. It's come at the physical level, and it's a wake-up call. And I think very often illnesses are wake-up calls, not just for the person alone, but now it also becomes a wake-up call for your partner. So the partner really has to step up.
Yeah.
So like in my case, when I fell ill, my husband had never gone grocery shopping. He never had to, right? He was busy with his work, and he held a very senior position in a large firm, and work was all that was his thing, right? And in that corporate culture, you're home on weekends, and that's the only time you have any family time. And our child was also very small, and he had never done grocery shopping and all of that, because I managed all of that despite managing my businesses. It was something I did, right? So suddenly he has to go. Of course, now online grocery shopping is far more predominant, and I can do it like lying in my bed. But at that point of time, I guess we weren't that online. And still, there's certain things you need to go, right, yourself. And, you want to see the fruits, and you want to see the freshness of the vegetable. And like, he's at sea, right? Because he's never done it. And I'm getting like 10 calls. Okay, there is this, and then there is this. Now, between the two, so that kind of a thing. But over a period of time, oh my God. Now, today, he's like just so happy doing all of that and on his own, and no assistance required. So he stepped up in so many ways. But these were things that were not things that he had ever done, right? So there are little ways and there are big ways that you've got to step up. The partner has to step up.
That's so beautiful. And so when one partner is well, so I have had cases where one of the partners starts digressing and deviating, and probably start looking out for other partners instead of because even the sexual reality gets compromised somewhere.
Absolutely, it does.
Such a scenario, what would you suggest that a partner, is it okay? Is it honoring, or like I would want you to talk more on that.
I think that again boils down to the value systems of the partners. Okay. So sometimes it could be that both partners see it in a pragmatic way, and they have an understanding that, hey, I'm cool about it.
Okay.
And then there are partnerships where it's not cool and it's not okay. It's absolutely not okay. So I think it's very individual as to what works for you. I think you've got to see what is your value system about it. I don't see that there is any wrong way or a right way. But personally, if you ask me, it's not something that somebody has purposely chosen to torture you or something like that, right? Or maybe, I don't know, could be, could be from some other lifetime. You could be having a contract. But it is not something that you, plan for. Or for me personally, it's like, hey, whatever will create the greatest.
Whatever will create the greatest.
Okay. Yeah. So like, if this is a long-term thing or it's a permanent thing, yeah, and I see that, hey, it's not fair,
yeah,
for the other person, yeah, I would say, hey,
go ahead, do whatever.
Yeah. And yet there will be somebody else who will say, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. We signed up to be together, and if I were in your place, I wouldn't, and nor should you. So like I said, that's what I'm saying. There's no hard and fast thing about this. I feel it's more on, what are your value systems? Right. What do you believe? And at the end of the day, I think the two people have to see what will create the greatest.
Wonderful. That's actually, so it's like, reviewing your marital thing also, and talking about everything openly makes it easier when you're in sickness. So is marriage a fictional reality, or is it, I want you to talk about, what do you think about marriage?
When you say fictional reality, are you referring to, and they lived happily ever after?
Fairy tale.
Okay, that's what you're referring to.
Fairy tale reality, and then it's like, immediately after that you're like done. You're like, okay, this didn't turn out to be a fairy tale. So yeah, fictional in that respect.
Well, when you get married, according to me, life shows up. Right? There are two people coming together, and both people have their own, pathways.
Yeah.
And both have come to be whatever they have come, to be. So it's not happily ever after, really. I think it's creating that happy together moment to moment.
Oh, lovely.
And then there are so then if you can create more of those happy moment to moment, then it can become a happily ever after. But happily ever after also does not exclude the tough times or the times when you have differences of opinion. But even in those times you can agree to disagree, and it doesn't have to become horrible or mean or rude. But there are going to be ups and downs. But if the two people are mature about it and they see it for what it is, and they do not confuse the person with the event.
Yeah.
That's not about the person, but it's just a situation that we have, and how can we how can we face this together? How can we go past this together? So yes, there are bound to be some rocky moments, but it doesn't have to be like horrible, very honestly. So I think, again, if two people grow into this communion, where we say, hey, why are we together? And why the happily ever after does not happen is because a lot of times the reasons why people get married are very different. Okay. But if two people got together from the perspective of partnering each other to enable each other to become everything that each of us has come to be, then I think the way you will approach a relationship will be very different. So there will be more of happiness created together more than the downs and the rocky moments.
And the space and the allowance and the gratitude for they just being there, I think, would be more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you have come with agendas that I have come with this expectation, I have come with this agenda, and this is how this person should be for me, and then when that person can't be like that for you because doesn't match your expectation, then you are heading down sadness street, if you ask me.
Yes.
So I think even when we got married, we definitely had some expectations. But fortunately for me, I got into this field of life transformation work. And what is transformation, Kavita? Transformation, the word trans is to go beyond. And form. So you go beyond a form and you transform. So you go beyond a form. And so very quickly I learned that there can be no fixed form. And in a relationship, you will continuously keep growing and evolving and learning, and you can't say it has to be this way, and if this is not this way, then it's a bad thing.
Basically, in trance, you can't really have a form because you're in trance, right? So
you keep going beyond every form. So you experience many kinds of forms, and you have experiences and whatever, but you keep growing from each of them. So when we come in with expectations, and then when those, like, I didn't sign up for sickness, I didn't sign up for children, I didn't sign up for many things, I didn't sign up for your popularity, then like, I can't handle you being popular, that kind of thing, all of that. There are a lot of things that will occur. And if the two people are not exactly very clear why they got into this marriage to begin with, then it's bound to create, So then, of course, it'll never be a happily ever after.
Wow. And I believe you've written some book, right? Or you are still in the process of completing?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I had written for a book. The Power of Releasing Judgments. And then after that, I have got 3 books written and sitting, but not published.
Would you want to talk about it? Briefly, and then we'll end it. And if you could just leave a message for the audience to wrap up this show.
So one of the books is basically, I have been writing my daily thoughts, which started as an inspiration to myself when I was feeling down because of the cancer situation. And that was August 2012 when I first had that first diagnosis. And over a period of time, the collection has grown.
Wow.
So one of the books is on that. There's a collection of that. Another book that I have written is about emotional detox.
Lovely.
So that was the other thing that I did, was look at all the stuff that I need to let go, because illness is also about looking at what you need to let go and let go of the clutter. And so there's that book sitting there. And then there's another book that I recently created, was Illness to Wellness. It's called I to We, where when I becomes we, illness can turn to wellness. So what do you do when you're faced with illness, and how can you go from illness to wellness with ease? So these are the 3 books. It's just that I have to get around to publishing them.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah.
And the message that I would like to leave everybody with, first of all, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this right now as we speak and in the future. What I would say is that marriage can be something very amazing and beautiful.
Yes.
In marriage, not only do you matter, but just like you matter, the other person matters too. So if you have your likes and dislikes, and you have, your dreams, so does the other person. So it's not like one person matters or one person's dreams matter. Both people's dreams matter. Both people have longings. Both people have come here to become something, to be something.
Yeah.
And when I say become something, it's not necessarily career. And both people, and why do we want a relationship? We want a relationship because we want to be loved. We want to be cherished. We want to be cared for.
True.
So if I have that desire, so does the other person.
Yes.
So if I would treat my partner the way I would like to be treated, then I think we've got a good thing going.
Lovely.
Right?
Phenomenal. I'm getting goosebumps listening to this. It's so beautiful that you said. I'm so glad that you mentioned that it could be a beautiful scenario. It's up to you how you create it.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I love having you. I mean, I love the idea of you coming onto my show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sweetheart, for having me over.
Thank you, everyone.
God bless.